All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mulatto Activists. So today I did a live stream and I was basically going over all the drama in the community, but I thought it would be appropriate to do a pre recorded video so I could actually go through the timeline step by step and really break down to you guys what's actually going on between the men in the space, the mulatto men of character and integrity, and these interlopers like Michael Sprague and other people from the Golden Sphere. Now, like I said, the only reason I'm doing this is because I think it is imperative that I come to the defense of the people who have come to my defense, okay? That includes people like Mindset, people like Vanguard, and other men in this space. So this video is going to serve two purposes. One, to defend the integrity of the men in the space, and to defend Mulatto Vanguard, who has been under this insane smear campaign over the last few days. Really years, but especially in the last few days, things have gotten very hot in the aftermath of this town hall meeting. And the second reason why I'm doing this is really to kind of demystify what's going on here. And it is important that I stake my position right now, because we're keeping a ledger, we're keeping score, we're keeping receipts of everything that people in this community are doing. We are going to keep track of what you have said, what you have done, what side of the conflicts you have fallen on, where your loyalties are. We're keeping track of all of that. Right now, we're in a period of turmoil, and there is no playing both sides. It is a period of decisiveness. And so that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am coming to the defense of the men in the space with me. Okay? Now, like I said earlier today, I did a live stream kind of going over all the community drama, but it was kind of disorganized. It was all over the place. I was really hyped up, emotional, amped. And I ended up saying some things that I probably shouldn't have said, especially towards the end of the live stream. So like I said, it is important that I do this live stream, this pre-recorded video, so that I can basically go through everything that has transpired and clear the air, clear my name, and defend the integrity of the other men, and really set the record straight. Now, I don't like doing all this kind of drama content, but if I need to, I will, because like I said, we need to defend our own integrity whenever we come under attack. Now, all of the drama stems back to this live stream here from 4 weeks ago titled Mulatto Mania. This is on Golden Goddess's channel. And in the aftermath of this video, there was a lot of whispering, there was a lot of basically debates, a lot of division in the aftermath of this particular live stream. People like Vanguard, people like Mulatto Mindset were name dropped during this 3-hour live stream. And so there was a lot of division that basically came as a byproduct of this 3-hour long stream here. Now, a few days ago, Michael Sprague took the chance to basically use this drama as a launch pad, and all the kind of snipes and all the kind of pot shots that people started taking, all the grenade lobbing that was done between the men and the women in the aftermath of this live stream. Michael Sprague took it upon himself to do a 40-minute stream where he basically gave his commentary on everything that happened. Now, this was 10 days ago, and in the comment section, I reached out to Michael and I said I would be down to talk to him. He goes, "Sure, if you have a specific topic or question to discuss, I will, but I'm not interested in a random discussion." I said, "I do. I'd like to discuss your qualms with the community, why it is essential for us to reclaim the term mulatto, and future plans for the space." Those are the three things that I wanted to discuss with Mr. Sprague, okay? Those are the big three things. Now, I was under the impression that this stream, which ended up being a town hall, I was under the impression it was going to be a one-on-one discussion between me and Michael Sprague. Because in this chain, in this comment section right here, this kind of exchange between us, he never made any explicit mention of this being a panel. He never said it was going to be a town hall. He never said there was going to be a whole bunch of people coming up on the stream giving us their 2 cents. I reached out to him because I thought it was going to be a one-on-one between me and him. We could talk about the word mulatto. We could talk about the qualms that he had with the community. And we were going to talk about future plans for the space. Like I said, I wanted to talk with him. I said, I would like to discuss your qualms with the community, your qualms, not Golden Goddess's qualms, not Dreamy's qualms. I only wanted to hear his qualms with the community. So I wanted to talk like men, one-on-one, on camera, live stream style. That's what I wanted to do. Now, this is the email chain between he and I, and he texted me, or I should say he emailed me on July 8th. That was a Wednesday. He said, hey, let me know what time works for you. I'm thinking this weekend during the evening. I said, we can do tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Pacific. Does that work for you? He said, I'm thinking Saturday evening. That would be best for everybody. So Saturday, that was July 11th. So I said, if we did Saturday, we'd have to do 9 p.m. Pacific because I work until 8. He said, all right, that works for me. Are you good for this Saturday? And this is the entire email that he sent. He said, as I was saying, I think Saturday evening would be best for everybody, but let me know and we will work it out. We would like to invite everybody in the mulatto sphere. By the way, we're not the mulatto sphere. I think we need to just stop using that word. We're a space, and the men here identify as mulatto, but we're not a sphere, okay? And I don't understand why he keeps lumping us together like that. He said he wants to invite everybody in the mulatto sphere to say their piece, including Mulatto Vanguard. We want all to be heard equally and fairly so we can hash this out and move on to more pressing issues. You will have 10 minutes to give your speech on each one of the 3 main topics, and then we will open it up to the public to comment on that topic. They will not be able to question or debate you directly, however, but they will be able to give their feelings on the matter within the allotted 3-minute time limit. Now, I was thinking the other people were going to be limited to 3 minutes, not me, because me and him were talking directly. I said I wanted to talk to him, and if he wanted to allow other people to kind of jump on the panel alongside me and give their 2 cents, that's fine. Or give their commentary or whatever, that's totally cool. But I wanted to be, because I was the person who set this up, I was the person who reached out to him, I was hoping it would primarily be a conversation between me and him about the important stuff going on, and then occasionally we would look at comments or people would be able to come up on the stream and give their 2 cents and chime in, but I really wanted it to be a discussion between he and I. He never said anything about this being an open panel for multiple people. He never said that. He never made that clear, not in the comment section when I initially reached out and not during the email. Never said anything specific about this being an open panel for everybody. So like I said, what I believed was supposed to be, or what I believed was going to be, a one-on-one conversation between 2 men with some occasional input from the audience ended up being this major circus where everybody else got to hop up and basically make false allegations and accuse us of things while having basically no evidence that's been verified. So, like I said, I was basically brought up here under false pretenses. I didn't want to do an open panel. I wanted to have a one-on-one discussion. Now, this is what he said after our email chain. He said, biracial/mulatto virtual town hall meeting with @mulatto activists is being scheduled. He said town hall in the community post, but he never said town hall when he was communicating with me directly. And I didn't see this until the day of the quote-unquote town hall. He said, biracial/mulatto virtual town hall meeting with mulatto activists is being scheduled. I will email him the details and set up an official time. This is being held under Robert's Rules of Order for maximum efficiency and to allow everyone an equal time to talk and say their piece. If you'd like to speak on any or all of these topics, you will have 3 minutes to speak your piece on each topic, and we will bury these issues for good. And then, of course, he highlights the 3 different topics here. So, initially, I thought that I was going here, like I said, to have a one-on-one conversation with Michael Sprague, okay? And it ended up being a dumpster fire. It ended up being absolute mayhem. But here's what I find so interesting, and I'm actually going to show you guys the reactions here in just a second, but here's what I find so interesting. I did this as a gesture of good faith. I wanted to take the high road, okay? And I know that people have issues with each other in this space. There seems to be a lot of bad blood between various creators, but I wanted to do better. I wanted to set a positive example. I wanted to be the guy who was willing to make amends, build bridges, reach out, ease the tension. I was hoping I could accomplish that. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to play you guys the last 2 minutes of this town hall meeting where I gave my closing thoughts, and I was very cordial and very respectful. And I made a genuine effort to negotiate a ceasefire and sign a peace treaty with Michael Sprague and the women in the Golden Sphere. I made a genuine effort, a real genuine effort. And then, even after this, they still continued to attack me, still continued to throw me under the bus, still continued to slander me. So I'm going to play the clip here and let it speak for itself, but I got all the receipts, because you got to have your ducks in a row when you're doing these kinds of videos. Now, I'm going to play the clip for you guys so you guys know I'm not lying. I made a genuine effort to squash the beef. Let's play this clip.
The other thing I was going to say is, look, I want to apologize to Dreamy, and I want to apologize to Golden Goddess for...
So I said that right there. I want to apologize to Dreamy and Golden Goddess. Because, like I said, I said some immature things during the 2-hour live stream that were probably in poor taste. But I wanted to make a serious good faith attempt at the end to kind of settle the beef.
Saying that you guys were nothing, and saying that you guys were divorcees and have cats in your house, and for calling you derogatory names. That is immature. That is something I take full accountability for, so I do apologize to you ladies. Like I said, I think that it's necessary that we have these kinds of community meetings where we can all come together, and there's different segments, different factions of the space can come together, because I do see us as being a part of a larger space. Even if they don't identify with the Mulatto sphere, I do still feel like there is a relationship, even if it's just a tangential one. I do feel like it exists, and I feel like there's overlap between our community and yours, whether you like it or not, just via the YouTube algorithm and via the fact that we share an identity. And like I said, I do want to apologize to Golden Goddess and Dreaming to Reality, and I just want to make a formal declaration here. And all of this is being live recorded right now. I want to sign a ceasefire and hopefully a peace treaty. So I'm making that offer to you right now. If you guys accept, please accept it. Let me know in the comments. Last thing I'll say is thank you so much for doing this, Michael. I hope we can do this again. That's all I have to say.
So there you go. I said, hey, Michael, let's do it again. I said I apologize to the ladies for the mean things that I said. I said I'd take full accountability, and I said I want to negotiate a ceasefire and a peace treaty. That's what I said, okay? My exact words. And I even went into the comments section after the live stream was over, and I said, very productive conversation, Michael. Michael goes, thanks, we'll do it again next month. This was 5 days ago, okay? Now, since this live stream, since this town hall, this is the reaction from the ladies. First, this is from Dreaming of Reality, the lady I apologized to. She said, you force everyone to be radical with you guys. Leave us alone. It was a gang of men against 2 women. Some town hall meeting that was no protection for women as usual. Okay, first off, this is a total mischaracterization of what actually happened. Dreaming of Reality was very aggressive. She called us gay. She called us odd. She called us weird. And she continued to perpetuate falsehoods against the men with no evidence. Let's be very clear about that. And she said it was a gang of men. It was me and El Mulatto. And El Mulatto didn't even say anything about them until they said things first. El Mulatto was very civil. If you guys want, you can go back and watch this entire 2-hour thing. He didn't say anything crazy to them. She and Golden Goddess were the only ones being obnoxious. Now, I said some things that were in poor taste, admittedly, but I apologized at the end. Raj was not being disrespectful. Nobody else there was really being disrespectful. So when they say it was a gang of men, that's just a lie. Now, of course, Michael, who is supposed to be the neutral arbitrator in all this guy presents himself like he's some kind of, elder Jedi, some wise elder statesman, fucking secretary of Mulattoville. This guy comes up here and he starts acting like we were punking them. And this is what he says. He says, I'm sorry that you didn't have a good time. I had to be impartial and not put my own commentary on it. This is absolute garbage. Michael called me out more than once for saying mean things to the ladies, but when they said mean things about us, he didn't say anything. He had nothing to say to them. And this is the problem with this guy. All of this is about coddling the women, justifying their poor behavior. I have to take the high road. I have to apologize. I have to try to make amends. They can do whatever and say whatever they want. And Michael is not going to hold them accountable. And that is what I find so conspicuous about this gentleman. And here's the thing that I'm getting from this. I reached out to him because I thought me and him could make things work. I wanted to try to build a bridge with the people in the Golden Sphere. And obviously, Mindset and Vanguard, they already knew what kind of guy you are, Michael. They already know exactly who you are. And that's the reason why they never attended the panel. Because they already know what kind of person you are. They know your character. They know you're duplicitous. They know that you have dual loyalty. I really shouldn't even say dual loyalty. I should just say you are a man of no integrity. And it's crazy because, like I said, you try to position yourself like some wise elder statesman. You know, some kind of secretary of Mulattoville, a diplomat, a member of the, a member of the wise Jedi Council of Mulattoes. But all you are is really just a two-faced diva. You're a two-faced diva. And you will gladly attack the men, but you'll never say anything to the women. And that's what doesn't make sense. If you're going to be a neutral arbitrator, be neutral. But you're not. And like I said, you invited me to this panel under false pretenses. You never made it clear what the format was going to be. And then, in spite of that, during that panel, you still took sides against the men. Make that make sense. So anyways, he says here, yeah, I'm sorry you didn't have a good time. I had to be impartial, even though he wasn't. I had to make sure everybody had their opportunity to speak. And then she goes in the comments, she replies, she says they were literally attacking us the whole time. It was unbalanced from the start of the discussion. People were supposed to have their issues brought up with the community, yada, yada, yada. When women did. And just, it's ridiculous how this girl is playing victim. She was being an aggressor. Golden Goddess was also being an aggressor. You guys can go back and watch the whole thing. So this idea that we were all ganging up on them, it's ridiculous. And like I said, never any accountability. When will people take accountability for what they do? She goes, the discussion was supposed to be the issues people have with the communities. Since when did two women become a whole community? There was no points brought up about a community. It was them defending their own community against women that don't want to be a part of their community. God, she has horrible grammar and is so repetitive. She needs to get off YouTube and take a couple English lessons. We should have never shown up in the first place. This was not a fair discussion at all. That's why we left, because who would stay to be jumped on by grown men? You talked about these kind of men all last week. They showed up and showed you what they do firsthand. The only safe space for us is on our own channels. That was proven last night. It's crazy. They'll get up, and this is what I don't understand. They'll get up, they'll call us incels, they'll call us gay, they'll say we're odd, openly slander us, and then when we respond, they play victim. It's ridiculous. This is called being a crybaby. This is textbook crybaby behavior. If you can't handle the smoke, get out the kitchen. And that's what I don't get about these women. It's like, if you want to engage in a conflict with us, let's do it. But you can't play victim, when things don't go your way. It's ridiculous. Of course, Michael goes on. He says, you have a safe space on my channel. I even said you body them in your points. El Mulatto said Vanguard is a problem publicly. Things are changing slowly, and I will make protecting mulattoes the main topic next time. What a simp. By the way, I have Al Show making a post with Vanguard saying I was biased against them all night as well. That's why being in this position sucks, but it has to be done. You were biased. You never called them out once, but you called me out. That is indicative of bias. And now you're coddling her on her own community post. And you're supposed to be the neutral arbiter, Michael. That's your job. That's how you present yourself. But you're here in this 11, 12 comment exchange taking her side. And then, of course, to add fuel to the fire, you have Golden Goddess here, who got into it with me, even though, like I said, in this clip, I tried to apologize with her. And here's the worst part. This is what she said. Listen closely. This is insane. This is what Dreaming of Reality had to say. She said, there is no protection for the women. These men were allowed to get up there and fake apologize, and pretend to care as if they weren't attacking us unprovoked from the beginning. There is no building community with these sick people that try to take this weird internet stuff offline. The truth was barely spoken on, and what was left at the end was nothing but men speaking and having a voice, because that's what you get over here. And it's just like, dude, you had the same amount of time to speak as everybody else. You're not a victim. And they said that I fake apologize. Let's listen to this back one more time. You guys let me know if this sounds like a fake apology.
To say is, look, I want to apologize to Dreamy, and I want to apologize to Golden Goddess for saying that you guys were nothing and saying that you guys were divorcees and have cats in your house and for calling you derogatory names. That is immature. That is something I take full accountability for. So I do apologize to you ladies. Like I said, I think that it's necessary that we have these kinds of community meetings where we can all come together, and there's different segments, different factions of the space can come together, because I do see us as being a part of a larger space. Even if they don't identify with the mulatto sphere, I do still feel like there is a relationship, even if it's just a tangential one. I do feel like it exists, and I feel like there's overlap between our community and yours, whether you like it or not, just via the YouTube algorithm and via the fact that we share an identity. And like I said, I do want to apologize to Golden Goddess and Dreaming to Reality, and I just want to make a formal declaration here. And all of this is being live recorded right now. I want to sign a ceasefire and hopefully a peace treaty. So I'm making that offer to you right now. If you guys accept, please accept it. Let me know in the comments. Last thing I'll say is thank you so much for doing this, Michael. I hope we can do this again. That's all I have to say.
So I try to be civil. I try to be diplomatic. And here's what I don't understand. We are in a period of conflict with these people. What do they expect? Do they expect us to be vulnerable? Do they expect us to be lovey-dovey? I'm still here being diplomatic. I'm still offering an olive branch. I said 2 times within a 2-minute time span, I apologize. I take accountability. Let's sign a ceasefire. Let's negotiate a peace treaty. Let's have more conversations like this. That's about as genuine as it's going to get. So for her to play victim and say that it was a fake apology, it's ridiculous. There's no basis for that. That was me being genuine. Okay? But they're just totally anti-mulatto. That's what they are. They're anti-mulatto. And you just can't really work with somebody like that. Then you have Golden Goddess. This is today in response to El Mulatone. And she was calling out El Mulatone for supposedly flipping sides. And then I said, you and Mindset squash the beef. It's time to start moving forward. Let's push peace. She goes, I didn't ask you for your opinion, and I don't care what your opinion is. A person couldn't be more fake than you. So she's calling me fake. I said, are you not tired of all this drama and fighting? You've been at this for years. Give it a rest already. She goes, meanwhile, you're on a video with this guy who's making unnecessary drama for content. I said, I don't understand why you insist on prolonging this. I watch every creator's content in the space. Why is that a surprise? This has nothing to do with me wanting to create or engage with drama. I haven't said anything negative about you or Dreamy since the last panel with Michael, and at the end, I recanted the stuff that I said and offered peace because I realized none of it is that deep. She goes, I'm not prolonging anything. I only highlight what's going on. This is all y'all. Yet here you are to address me. I'm not mentioning you anywhere. Well, here's the problem, though. If you call out the men in my space and you're slandering us and calling us incels and all these other kinds of names, I have to clap back. I have to protect my own community, my own tribe. That's my obligation. You attack one of us, you attack all of us. That's what it is. So this idea that you can call us incels, losers, and lump us all in, which is basically an indirect attack on me, and then when I clap back, you say, oh, well, this has nothing to do with you, it's ridiculous. It obviously does. We're in the same space. She goes, and I wasn't going to mention you, yet here you are wagging your finger at me instead of the people who are actually going through this. I find you to be intelligent but not very self-aware. You don't like me, we get it. It's not that I don't like you, it's just the fact that your rhetoric is problematic. I said, look, Gigi, I'm over it. Whatever y'all got going on is between y'all. I should have never butt in to begin with, but I'm going to clap back whenever you guys generalize the mulatto space, and especially the men. It is my duty to speak up against that kind of rhetoric. At the end of the day, the mission is much larger than all of us. It's time that we start to act like it. So like I said, I'm trying to squash the beef. I'm trying to push peace. I'm trying to end the tension with her, with Dreaming of Reality, with Sprague, with all these people. I have no interest in continuing the conflict. But here's the crazy part. After all this, after my apology, after reaching out to Michael to set up this civil conversation, and after commenting down below that it was a very productive conversation, which Michael responded to by saying, "Thank you, we'll do it again next month," being very cordial, being very polite, it seemed like we were making progress, headed in the right direction. Even after all that, Michael Sprague, only 2 days after that live stream, was back to calling me out. And this is what he said in his community post. He says, Mulatto Vanguard is still running his mouth with non-mulatto Al Lanier. I thought we were having a ceasefire at Mulatto Activist. Now, first off, he's just straight up lying. He's saying that Al Lanier is not mulatto. That's slander. And like I said, when we say these people don't act in good faith, they don't have integrity, they don't have character, they don't have morals, they're not righteous, this is what I mean. They just lie. What evidence does he have that that Al Lanier is not mulatto? He has no evidence. If anything, we should be scrutinizing you. You're not on camera. You don't even post any pro-mulatto content. We have no idea who you are. You're hiding behind an avatar and you're a 50-year-old man. So if anything, you're out here criticizing and calling everybody else out. You're the one who needs to be called out. Stop hiding and show your face. So like I said, he just comes out lying about Al Lanier, saying he's not a mulatto. And it's like, Al Lanier has been here since time immemorial. Al Lanier has been here for a long time. He has more credibility than you, and he's earned his stripes. And he still supports us to this day. And what I find so interesting is, how do you expect to be a neutral arbitrator, but I'm trying to think of the words. You are not acting in good faith. You're acting in bad faith. In order to actually have diplomatic relations with people and to actually make things work, you have to operate in good faith. But you're not operating in good faith. He goes, I thought we were having a ceasefire at Mulatto Activist. Ask your leader, does he really want to continue this? Also, since he is loud in the comments, we all expect to see him next month and not hiding like a coward. So this is what I find so fascinating. He says that Vanguard is the leader. Let's get something very clear. Vanguard is not the leader, and he doesn't want to be the leader. He doesn't want to be treated like the leader. He wants all of us to kind of push in the same direction. This is a team effort. There is no leader of the mulatto space. All of us serve our different roles. All of us serve our different functions. It's a team effort, strength in numbers. So he's not trying to be the leader. And of course, you're trying to characterize him that way to kind of discredit the movement by saying it's a cult. There's one person who's leading everybody, and they're all afraid to hold him accountable. But here's what you don't understand, Michael, because you're not a man. You act like a woman. What you don't understand is that men respect hierarchy. Men respect order. Men respect leadership. Men respect consistency. Men respect dedication. Men respect merit. Men respect men who put in the work. You haven't put in the work. You're an interloper. Like I said, you have not posted any pro-mulatto content. You haven't called out the black nationalists. You haven't called out the Afrocentrics. You haven't called out the white nationalists. You haven't called out the people in our own ranks. You haven't called out the subversives. You have not put out any content related to our struggle, and you've been here for a year. All you do is police the other men. And you wonder why we don't respect you or trust you. And then on top of that, you turn around and play both sides after pretending like you're being neutral. You have dual loyalty. And you hold the men accountable, but you never hold the women accountable. And this is exactly why none of these people want to be on your panel. This is why nobody wants to be on your page. Nobody wants to attend your little live stream, your little get-together. It's because you're not unbiased. You're not impartial. You are very biased. So just because we give credit where credit's due, just because we shout out and recognize the work that Vanguard has been putting in for 4 years, and the fact that he actually helps monetarily, he sends money to mulattoes in Europe, in the United States, in Canada. He shouts us out. He goes to our live streams. He supports our work. He counsels with us. You don't do any of that. All you do is hide behind an avatar as an interloper and criticize us. And we all secretly know there's a possibility that you're not even one of us. A lot of people are saying you're really a Blaxican, pretending to be a mulatto. Now, that we're not saying you can't be mulatto and be Blaxican, but, you know, we got to be able to see you first. And that's kind of the problem that we have with you. Men respect people who put in the work. He's put in the work. None of us would be here if it wasn't for him. He put us on game, and we all recognize that. Pariah Disciple, Ronin, me, Mindset, Mulatto, all of us are here because of him. And we give him credit. We acknowledge that. It's called showing respect, something you wouldn't understand. Because like I said, you're not a man. You don't act like a man. You act like a child. You're doing all these call-out posts, hiding behind an avatar. It's pathetic. It's pathetic behavior. So you want to talk about him being a coward? How is he a coward when he's been taking the slings and arrows for 4 years? You're not even cammed up. I'm cammed up. I'm talking shit to the public. I'm getting in people's face. I'm popping my shit because I'm serious about this. So was he. So was Mindset. What have you done? You have done nothing. This is why we don't respect you. And it's crazy that you think we're obligated to attend your little fucking panel, but you haven't earned that role. You need to earn your rank. You don't just get recruited and all of a sudden you're a starter on the team. That's not how that works. You got to score some points. You got to get some assists. You got to get some rebounds. Sometimes you got to be 6th man, 7th man, 8th man, 3rd string even. You're nowhere. You're not even on the team, bro. You're not even on the team. You don't have a jersey. You're in the stands throwing popcorn on the hardwood. So while we're out playing, while we're out getting buckets, you shut up like a good boy, stay on the stands and keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, contribute to the movement or just don't say anything at all. And this is the problem that we have with you. You know, you do all these call-out posts, all this sneak dissing, and you're a 50-year-old man acting like a child. This is how girls act. I would expect this from a 15-year-old girl. You're not a 58-year-old man. So that was the first one, the first community post here, basically calling me out. Then here was another one, and this is from 7 hours ago, but I actually wanted to read this. So check this out, right? So he goes into the comment section on Mulatto's most recent video, and this is what he writes. He said, "The town hall did great. More speakers are attending next month, and we're focusing on business building, networking, media creation, and drumroll, protecting biracial women," in all caps. Of course, this guy is a simp. That's why these losers are backpedaling and saying they won't attend next month. They hate women and biracial/mulatto women especially. No, we don't. That's false. Once again, slander, false allegations. Mixed Journals was on Progress's live stream yesterday shouting us out because she respects us and we respect her. She's our sister. She's a part of the tribe. You're not. You're an interloper. You're a savage. You're a foreign barbarian. You're an invader. You don't belong here. You're banished forever until you recant the slander, until you take back what you said and issue a formal apology, preferably with a cam on. So this idea that we hate all the women, it's false. Fresh Mulatto supports us. Magic Mulatto supports us. Flowers Telling Stewart supports us. Renata Mulatto supports us. Mixed Journal supports us. That's 5 women right there. 5 women to your 2 women. So 2 women have an issue with us, but 5 women support us. But somehow there's this narrative that we don't like women. It's just totally fabricated. So this guy, he says, "Notice how El Mulatto never checked mulatto activists once during the town hall for trashing the women. They're a bunch of losers." That wasn't the point. Why would El Mulatto criticize me on a panel that wasn't even about me? It had nothing to do with me. And on top of that, the women were attacking us. You can go back and watch the whole 2-hour live stream. It's all recorded. It's all on his page. This is a false representation of how it went. Mulatto was being very civil, very respectful. It's not really his fault. He's not really the problem here. So, like I said, this guy is calling us losers. He's saying that we hate women. This guy is saying that El Mulatto is a coward because he didn't check me. And, this is what doesn't make sense. Like I said, it was a good conversation. This was 5 days ago. I said, very productive conversation, Michael. He said, thanks, we'll do it again. 2 days after that, he's calling me out in a community post. He's coddling, dreaming of reality. And now he's calling me out in El Mulatto's comment section, calling me a loser and saying that the men hate women. And this is supposedly the guy who's neutral. This is supposedly the guy who is the fair, reasonable, moderate. No, he's not. And you are exposing yourself in real time. You are destroying your credibility. You cannot be taken seriously. Without us, there is no movement. Without us, there is no motion. You guys are old. You guys are old. You are old. You are boring. You have no charisma. You are nothing without us. Without us, you guys would be nothing. You guys need us to exist. Without us responding to you, you guys would go starving. You guys would have no career. You guys would have no content. So you guys should be thanking us for even responding to you. Anyways, this was another one. So this was from 7 hours ago. But get this. Get this. After he posted this comment where he said that we hate women, where he said that Mulatto was a coward for not checking me, and when he called us losers, I responded by trying to take the high road. I said, hey, Michael, come on, man. I'm trying to push peace. You heard my final statement when I left the last town hall. Stop throwing me under the bus. This was after he and I emailed. This was after me and him had a civil conversation. This was after I commented a positive message under the live stream, and he responded in kind. Seemed like things were going the right way. Then 2 days later, he's attacking me in a community post. He's sneak dissing me in El Mulatto's comment section. And like I said, I'm still trying to be civil. This was 17 hours ago. And then 7 hours ago, he calls me out again. And this time he tags all the men. He tags Vanguard, Mindset, Pariah Disciple, Ronin, Albanir, Mulatto, me, and then Progress. And he says that we're his biggest fans. 7 hours ago, after I tried to squash the beef with this guy. And he even called 1316 Progress a Fed. So this guy, let's just be honest, hates Mulatto Vanguard, hates the men, says that we hate women, says that we're losers, said that we don't protect the women, and that we don't call out the mistreatment of the women. And then he calls Progress a Fed. So he's calling us out in community posts, saying that Vanguard is the leader. He's calling out my speech on the platform. He's calling out my speech on the live stream, but he's not calling out the things that the women are saying. But we're all supposed to believe that, oh, he's the guy who's taking the high road. He's the moderate. He's trying to be reasonable. He's trying to be fair. Now I feel like an idiot. And you're making me feel like an idiot. I don't like feeling like an idiot. I hate feeling like an idiot because I trusted you. I trusted you. I tried to work with you. I reached out when nobody else wanted to reach out. None of the men were willing to go on the live stream with you because they know your character. I didn't. And I guess I had to find out the hard way that you're duplicitous. And now you're calling Progress a Fed. Once again, no evidence. And like I said, for the 8,000th time, when I say our enemies do not fight with honor, this is what I mean. They call us Feds. They call us incels. They call us anti-black. They call us all kinds of names. They say we hate women. They say we're losers. Just endless slander. And this guy's supposed to be the neutral one. And now he's calling Progress a Fed. If anything, you're probably a Fed. You probably work for the CIA. You probably work for the FBI. We don't even know what you look like. We have no idea what you look like. Dude, you're an interloper. 58-year-old man, been in the space for a year, hasn't posted any pro Mulatto content, but you're always attacking the people who do. Don't even know what you look like. And now you're accusing people of being a Fed. You are a subversive, sir. You're a federal agent. You can't be trusted. And I made it very clear, just to sum things up. I said, my main issue with this guy is that he's been in the space for over a year and hasn't put out any pro Mulatto content. He doesn't show his face in any of his videos, which makes him look even more suspicious. You have this cryptic, faceless entity adding fuel to the fire, not putting out any pro Mulatto content, and only ever speaks on matters related to drama and division while playing both sides. He talks a big game about building and networking, but he has absolutely nothing to show for it. He isn't even spreading the message, unlike me, you, Vanguard, and Mulatto, who have put in real work and actually care deeply about spreading the gospel. He's not talking with larger creators. He's not reposting or liking our content. He's not pushing back against these other groups. And that's the real threat that needs to be eliminated. Instead, he spends most of his time lecturing us because we aren't politically correct and we offend his sensibilities. If this wise elder Jedi has the formula to elevate mulattoes, why hasn't he started putting out content? Why is he not putting us on game? And why does he spend more time attacking us rather than actually fighting our adversaries? It's very subversive behavior. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the problem that we have with this guy is he tried to insert himself. He tried to insert himself and he never earned his position. Hasn't put out any content, don't know what he looks like, doesn't support the men, is always attacking us, says he has a better plan, says that we haven't done enough, but he hasn't done shit. You just can't take this guy seriously. And so at this point, listen, let's be very clear about something. If he does not issue a formal written apology, or if he doesn't get on camera and record an apology to the men in the space, we have nothing else to talk about. There is nothing else to talking about, or there is nothing else we're talking about. Because you can't be trusted. I gave you a chance. I reached out to you. I tried to be civil. I tried to be respectful. I even apologized. And then you started throwing me under the bus in your comments, in the community posts, bad-mouthing me. After I tried to level with you, you betrayed me, Michael. Michael Sprague, you betrayed me. You betrayed the men. We didn't betray you. You betrayed us. You betrayed us. And betrayal is a serious crime. I'll take an enemy over a traitor. You're a traitor, Michael. That's what you are. You're a traitor. And so this is what I said. I said, until Michael Sprague issues a formal written or video apology for betraying me after we were working towards a ceasefire, all peace negotiations are off. So this is what I want you to do, Michael. I want you to take out your phone. I want you to record a 5 to 10 minute video, and I want you to say sorry to me. I want you to say, Mulatto activist, I'm sorry. I apologize for what I said to you. That's what I want to hear. And I want you to write a long, formal apology, post it on your account, and then maybe we can proceed from there. And this is your last chance. This is your last chance. If you ever cross us again, you're banished forever. We will never reconcile with you again. We tried to show you grace. We tried to show you good faith. We tried to be kind to you. We tried to be fair to you. And you repaid us with slander and false accusations. That's not honorable. So anyways, that's all I have to say about all of this drama. I have nothing else really to say about this. If something comes up again in the future that requires a response video, then, I'll say what I have to say, but I'd rather keep the content focused. I want to push the agenda, push the message, keep the drama to a minimum. But this needed to be addressed because people need to understand there is standards, there is order in this community. There is standards with the men. You can't just come in here bossing us around. You got to earn your fucking place, earn your spot, earn your respect. Get on camera. Until then, just shut your mouth. Go be a fan, but you're not in the game, buddy. Anyways, that's all I have to say. It's Mulatto Activist, and I am out.